Stugotz, we spend so much time analyzing football and thinking we know something, and Colin Cowherd opens the season against the spread 0-9-1, which is just majestic.
It's a big tie.
We haven't even done Celebrity Prognosticator this year, and we're winning.
It is majestic. We're tied. We're not winning. We can't be winning.
We haven't lost you units.
But
we are up on units.
But he has a push.
He has a push.
It's going to be a big draw.
It's hard to do. And we mock him, but we've been mocking him for years because 2 of the last 3 years or 3 of the last 4 are Celebrity Prognosticator, a series of circus buffoons, or baboons, excuse me, not buffoons. They have beaten Colin Cowherd picking games, just a random selection of celebrities who don't know anything about football. But none of us had Puka Nacua as the first 2 games of his career. No receiver ever has got more than 10 catches for more than 100 yards to open a career. And we were like, well, wait a minute. Cooper Kupp just weirdly, schematically, I don't think that's one of the best receivers I've ever seen. But statistically, Cooper Kupp is one of the best receivers there's ever been. No dispute, had the best season you can have. But schematically, Stugotz, what we have seen with the McVays that birthed the Shanahans, that birthed the Brock Purdys, that birthed the McDaniel. When a personality type is in his late 30s and schematically, they're telling you in the broadcast, this team runs more motion than any team in the sport, second most play action. You don't know whether they're going to run on a pass. It's speed all over the place. It's up the middle. It's going to be hard to stop an accurate quarterback. When that guy is so comfortable on the road, as everyone is now talking, Stugotz, now the Dolphins are a popular pick, as if Tua is still not fragile. Now they're the popular pick after 2 weeks of overreactions. Look at Dallas, overreact for 2 days. Look at Dallas, look at Miami. Those look overwhelming to me. Never mind that Mahomes has been there 5 straight years. We want 2 games in to pick something else. But when you go into Foxborough, Stugotz,
yep,
and all of what I said is just true, and Belichick is the old guy reaching into his sock to pull out a kerchief and trying to get a lineman to get an extra inch, and at halftime, the NFL, Stugotz, is trying to change from old quarterbacks to young quarterbacks, from old guard to new guard. AFC East shifts upside down, and sprinting off at halftime playfully, joyfully. The guy who was playing video games muttering, prime time, to Dan Soder. A kid, kind of. Like, my wife walked past the television the other day and said, because he was just frozen on it, and he said, he looks like a child, the coach of the Dolphins. At halftime, the NFL puts on its social media Mike McDaniel running off the field at halftime, sprinting. The camera's following him the way that they always follow the coach off the field, and he playfully runs away from it very fast. That's been the avatar for the NFL this week.
He could scoot.
This person that Stephen A. Smith has already said, I don't want to hear from him anymore. Shut up. Just coach. Hasn't done anything. Hasn't won anything. But in this sport where we don't actually understand the X's and O's. For example, Stugotz, I'm guessing here that I would have a hard time as a show explaining to you why CeeDee Lamb had 140 yards, but the Jets didn't use Sauce Gardner on him. And after the game, Dak Prescott just goes up to Sauce Gardner and says, because Sauce Gardner's asking him, why didn't you challenge me? He's like, no need to. Why would I go up against the best? Don't have to. I thought CeeDee Lamb was going to be shut down because I thought the Jets were going to do something to try and slow down a person who can't be slowed down with a cornerback that they have.
He actually challenged him once in the first half, and if Sauce brought his hands to the game that day, he would have had a pick 6. Like, he challenged him and said, yep, I'm not challenging him again. That guy's good.
He's one of those corners that stays on one side of the field.
Yes.
But I actually thought on Monday Night Football, like, in the first half, he had allowed as many receptions as he did in the final half of last season. Buffalo was kind of going at him a little bit and having success.
I don't understand how anyone in today's NFL can be good at that position. Like, excellent, standout, excellent at that position, because everything out there is too precise. CeeDee Lamb is somebody, as a human being. Every receiver would want to look like that and move like that. Throw it to a spot with him. He's going to be the one who ends up with it because he's a ridiculous athlete. How you cover that, I do not know. Every week, I expect him to have 100 yards. There are like 6 receivers in the league like that. The Dolphins might have 2 of them. I'm looking at what I'm watching, though, with the Dolphins, because they have 2 of them, Stugotz, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Can there be a paradigm shift on how these human beings look and act and function during these games that are so serious. If Mike McDaniel can be beating Belichick and the cameraman's following him and he's confident enough that he sprints playfully away, because it doesn't all have to look like Mike McCarthy, I'm a drill sergeant, I'll win one Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers and not use him correctly, but I'm going to bulldoze you with my fullback, and my crowd is going to chant my fullback's name, and that's how I'm going to use Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I like Mike McDaniel. I find him to be cool, to be fun, to be different, to be refreshing, to be a breath of fresh air. But, Dan, he has, like, the reason he's able to walk that confidently and sprint off the field like that, he's got a good quarterback. He's got a good offense. He's got Tyreek Hill.
He made it all look like that. Like, you could say it's all players, but clearly.
Oh, he did, yes.
No, but clearly we're all watching something we don't understand, and he's out tacticianing people on things we don't understand.
But he did tell us, Dan, in his office that day, like, he thinks Tua is the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Yes, but it was also shocking to hear that, because prior to, we hadn't seen evidence of that.
Correct.
You say that he's got a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback since Mike McDaniel got here.
Right.
Remember, all the discourse around Tua was, is he good?
Yes.
He's getting pulled for Ryan Fitzpatrick constantly. So Mike McDaniel does have a lot to do with that.
Are we giving McDaniel the credit for Tua's success? Is that, I mean,
he got here and
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm not.
Mike.
Why can't it be both things? I don't want it to be just one or the other. I think Tua, when healthy, is proven he can be a good quarterback under the right guidance, because it was very clear that Brian Flores' staff was holding Tua back. But also, Mike McDaniel comes from a coaching tree that has bona fide results. I don't appreciate. While I like Mike McDaniel, the person, from what he allows us to know about him, I appreciate his story. I also appreciate how he does think differently. I do know that part of his plight is, I'm also a leader of men. And people seem to be incapable of talking about Mike McDaniel, leader of men. He's always like the fun sideshow thing. And I kind of understand it, which is why I try to lean away from the quirkiness of Mike McDaniel. Now, he could probably do a better job of that. You don't see other people sprinting, although I would have loved to have seen Tom Coughlin sprinting away from a camera in the same fashion.
My larger point, because I can't believe what just happened. You just took away from Stugotz unfairly, and he won't have it. He wanted to give one of them credit, and you're like, it doesn't have to be like that, Stugotz. Yeah. And you're wrong, Mike. It does have to be like that. One of them Stugotz will not live in a sports world where he can't say, and who gets the credit for that? Is it all the credit?
I mean, you're watching it.
I don't like pie charts of credit.
Tua isn't even like my lead example on that roster of both can be good.
This is how
Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes both can be good.
In the analytics age, God bless football, and Stugotz is going to run to the top of the hill with, do I give him all of the credit for Tua or not all of the credit? I cannot choose both sides. There's one side to this. It's absolute. It's 100%. And I've changed my mind 6 times since Brady and Belichick broke up. I was giving one of them credit the entire time for 20 years. And now at the end of it, I'm like, it was all Brady.
Yeah,
Brady won.
But you were a little guilty of trying to take credit away from someone. I heard your Puka Nacua take.
Yeah.
And you kind of forget every time that Cooper Kupp went out prior to Puka Nacua, where they struggled to replace that. And while Puka Nacua is off to a tremendous start, he is not doing the same things that Cooper Kupp could do healthy.
I am not
doing him better.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
He is not.
No, he's not.
Cooper Kupp would go for like 60 yards.
I am, and want to be on record, I have underestimated Cooper Kupp his entire life because he is white. He doesn't look like the other receivers I have seen be close to 2,000 yards, and it is confusing to me.
That is refreshing honesty that you don't hear from many sports personalities.
I feel better now.
It hurts me to admit it. I believe most of you are doing it. I have underestimated this man because he is white, is a bias that I am willing to admit to and apologize to Cooper Kupp and everyone involved for the racism that exists inside of me, because I thought he was not as good as Randy Moss. I'm sorry. However,
who could have saw that?
However, no, yes, I'm sorry. You all saw it, but it's just me. It's only me going to admit to this. It's all of you knew. No, Cooper Kupp's better than Randy Moss statistically, obviously. Just look at it. My point is, McVay knew something, won a Super Bowl, and now the young kids who are kind of like him want what he has, and they too scheme and evolve.
I was waiting for someone to come for someone's stuff.
He's here! Stugotz, things around here have gotten very busy. We are making a lot of shows. There are a lot of responsibilities. Billy's got 2 God Bless footballs. Austin Eckler's on one of them. Raheem Mostert is on that one. Chris Sims is on God Bless football. Eckler's like a correspondent for them. And sometimes, because he's been in the dungeon of the useless sound montage for years, it takes Wednesday now to get to the useless sound montage instead of Monday or Tuesday after the games have happened, because Billy is getting slapped sideways by having to chase you around and do God Bless football. And now lacrosse starts.
Right.
So now his life is about to become a total
fall ball,
a total nightmare.
I found out yesterday, and I had to deal with guest bookers at 8 o'clock at night because I found out Stugotz was going to Syracuse tomorrow, which was never disclosed to me.
Yeah, we all find out these things
kind
together.
of lots of moving parts.
Yes.
Parents' weekend, Billy.
Yes.
You'll be there one day. It's on the calendar.
Also, though, happening here, Charlotte Wilder and Amin, you may have noticed, Amin in the last month has just been gutted and tired because these are hard. Getting these shows off the ground and getting your voice and finding the right chemistry, it is hard to do these things. He, with Charlotte Wilder, is daily doing Oddball, where they go and find weird stories in basketball, and Charlotte doesn't know what a PlayStation is.
Well, in my defense, I had not. So we played a game called I Spy, and I was supposed to say, also, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Congratulations. You got married.
I sure did.
Hey, congrats.
Yay, go me. Good job.
Didn't Jeremy
Be my
also
wife.
get married? Did he?
We don't care.
We don't care about
Not to
that
each
one.
other, Dan.
We had to practice not saying my wife.
You're Jeremy's wife?
Also,
no.
I said
Oh, no,
also
no.
get married.
No, no.
Yeah, I put
Not
the
to each
man,
other.
Both of you with the same joke. I said also, so that
I
you
mean, but when
wouldn't
I got
think
married
they-
the same day as my wife also got married, but we got married to each other, you know?
I did not suggest that Charlotte,
Charlotte
and
and
Jeremy
Jeremy.
had married each
No
other.
one said
It
you
makes
did,
you
we're
think,
just
is all I'm saying.
clearing
clarifying,
things up, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Billy.
Congratulations, Charlotte. Why don't you know what a PlayStation is?
Well, because I didn't and don't play many video games, Dan. And also, when Amin showed me a picture and told me to say what the things in the picture were, the picture was small on my computer, and it took me a good 2 minutes before I realized I could make it bigger, and then I could see that it said Sony.
You're a young person, though.
Well, I think listeners of the show think I'm younger than I am just because I'm kind of a moron.
Okay, but you should be able to know. Even I know how to make video quickly bigger so that I.
Do you really?
Dan, guess Charlotte's age.
Don't.
Oh, boy.
Dan,
No,
don't.
It's a trap.
It's a dangerous game, Dan.
It's a trap.
I care about you.
I'm 67 years old.
Whoa.
Do not.
I know.
Well, as
I've had a lot of work done.
But as a soul, though, you are you're a mummified old person like my wife.
Well, yeah.
Wait,
You
you
wouldn't say
married
that.
Charlotte?
No, Charlotte's not married to anybody
Wait, Dan
here.
is Charlotte, wait, what?
I've never seen Valerie, Jeremy's wife, and Charlotte in the same room together. That's all
I would like to be excluded from this narrative.
Oddball every day except Monday because
Yeah.
it's oddball. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on the DraftKings network that has exploded. And Mike, you just had big meetings in New York.
In a good way, you mean?
Yeah, well, it hasn't exploded to destruct. It has exploded.
Just give him mean time.
Yeah, Amin is trying, and Stugotz is too. Billy also rolling grenades across the floor.
Not at all. I'm capturing
actively
grenades.
trying to destroy DraftKings network and everyone who works at it. Stugotz, Amin, and Billy.
That's unfair.
But because this is getting very complicated for me as I age out on some stuff, because I was getting fooled by the most obvious of butt cracks, Stugotz. Butt crack would fool me, and the internet would fool me. But now with AI, the stuff that's on the internet, I have to double, triple, quadruple check, and it's like, okay, is this the thing that happened with Bobert? Is this real? Is this a real thing, or am I being fooled by the internet? Did Tyreek Hill actually say that after his career he's going to be a porn star, or is that AI tricking me? Is that something that happened, or is it not something that happened?
Jack Hammer.
I'm scared now of the internet officially, that the internet is actively going to fool me because the internet is working to fool me. There are more deep fakes, more sophisticated. Butt crack is not a sophisticated fake. I get fooled by the easiest things, but they're getting better at it. And so can someone help me, please? Someone give me advice, counsel,
Yes, Dan.
expertise.
I got you. I made a top 5 list of top 5 ways to detect a deepfake video in the wild because you are not the only one. Several media members have been duped by some pretty, I would say, like moderately sophisticated deepfake videos this college football season of Dabo Swinney and Brian Ferentz. So I'm going to play the Dabo Swinney one first, and they're all going to have little clues in them, and at the end I'll give you the top 5 list. So here's Dabo Swinney.
Oh man, it was bad, unacceptable. When your offense is getting compared to a Brian Ferentz offense, you know you have problems and a lot of work to do.
So that's the first video.
So great.
That circulated the internet, and people thought Dabo Swinney actually said that about
like him.
the Clemson offense after the Duke game when their offense was terrible, akin to Iowa's. Now, here is a video that went viral earlier this week from allegedly the offensive coordinator at Iowa.
You all have had fun with this 25-point obsession, and I get it. I do. But if I'm not mistaken, we just dropped 41 on Saturday. So maybe it's time to grab a hold of your little step ladders and go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
Again, I can
Can't
see
believe
why
he
it
said
went
that.
viral.
Pretty funny. Pretty funny.
That one's very realistic.
Pretty funny.
I wish it were real.
And then lastly, today, and inexplicably, I think ESPN posted this on their TikTok account, but then it went viral on like just random Twitter accounts last night and early this morning, a video of Deion Sanders in front of a Colorado logo from his playing days. So here's that video.
I got one thing to say. This is my house. I built this, and this is my house.
So people thought that
That was a fake.
was real.
That is fake.
That I'm learning in real time, and I was like, "How? Why would he be standing? He didn't go there." I'm like, "Did he beat them by a lot?" And I was googling it. I was like, "No, it's FSU." Oh my god.
So that was actually Deion Sanders saying that. The videos, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see there's a logo behind his head. You'll also see that when he's moving his head, you can kind of tell that it's a cutout and that they've edited this logo behind it.
When
And
did he
this-
do that? Was that as a Falcon, where
I
he
think it was
was
in the
"This is
Falcons'
my
locker
house" because he
room,
had
yeah.
like a punt return for a touchdown in a
Right.
game that he also played baseball in?
So I have a top 5 list. Number 5 on the top 5 list.
Yes, both the
And
same
this
day, same
applies-
field, same field, same baseball and football.
Right.
I'm
But
still
one
hung
after
up-
the other.
Yeah,
I mean, right.
Jeremy
No,
and Charlotte
same
are
time.
not married. To be
Same time.
clear.
They got married that day. The day that Deion
This
was
is-
playing baseball and football on the same field
Big
at
day.
Atlanta.
I
Jeremy
missed
married
all of
Charlotte.
you. I
Yes.
missed this so much.
Welcome back, Shar. Number 5, this applies to all 3 of these videos, is the quality of the video.
That's a good one.
So if you notice, all 3 of these videos, except the last one I pointed out, there's like a little halo over his head where I think they've cut him out and pasted him over a logo. But the other 2 are very blurry. They're not press conference quality. They look like they've been compressed multiple times because people have probably been playing with them and editing audio over them
What
and
is
then
the
downloading
age
and re-downloading them.
Of the people being fooled by this, are they my age?
Us,
Are-
Dan.
No, I saw Gojo got by the Iowa one yesterday.
I got,
Yeah.
but we don't know how old I am.
We don't know.
Vaguely 30s. We'll go with that.
I thought one of us does. One of us does know how old you are.
And this also applies to political deepfake videos because there is a current controversy regarding John Fetterman clones, which I will not get to today. But that is a thing. And to go back to a point you made
Wait a
earlier,
minute.
yes, the
No one
Bober
can
video,
account for someone healing over time.
I saw him walking naked in an airport. I mean,
Put it on Billy's list of things we're going to get to.
That was
Fetterman's
an amazing
nudity.
video. The Bober video was real, though, Dan. I do want to
Thank
correct
you.
something you said from earlier. But number 4, are there inconsistencies in lighting? A lot of the deepfake videos, people are like copy and pasting things from other videos, and they just look different. They look off. It looks like it's part of it was done somewhere else from the rest of the video. So keep an eye on that. The Deion video, I think in particular, like it just doesn't look, the logo behind him doesn't look natural. Number 3, are their mouths moving to match what they are saying? This is the biggest giveaway for me.
is.
If you watched either
It
of those
is.
first 2 videos and you look at their mouths, you can tell
That's true.
something is afoot.
Well, but Jessica, and this is the part, this is where I also get fooled. Sometimes I'm not watching the video that closely, and the audio sounds like the voice isn't having a skip, and that's
Dan,
where
put
I
on
get
your
the carelessness.
Are you ever watching and listening to anything? Like,
Are you ever listening to anything?
no. I mean,
I don't. The answer to your question is I'm not watching video with the skepticism of, do I have to be a correct lip reader here? I'm watching passively.
I really am bothered by Stugotz being distracted, chewing on his tongue, looking at fantasy scores, because this is helpful. She's really helping you right now.
It's an election years coming up. We're going to see so many of these, and they're already all over TikTok, videos of Biden and Trump saying things that they didn't say that look sort of real, but if you give them a closer look, you're like, okay, that didn't actually happen.
Mike, I'm paying attention. I appreciate that she's doing this, but this is how I do it. If I want to believe it's real, it's real. How about that?
You can believe that Dabo said that. It doesn't hurt anyone. But there are actual harmful versions of this out in the wild, which is why the first two on my list are the most important to pay attention to. Number 2, are they saying something insane? Do you think Dabo Sweeney would actually say this? Like, do you think someone who, like, yes, he says, but no, Dabo says.
Dabo's a bad
Very
example.
stereotypically college football coach things all the time. One thing you will never hear a college football coach like Dabo say
Right.
is something about another team that makes the other team look bad. He loves his moral high ground. Like, this is not something Dabo would say.
Okay.
Brian Ferentz is not telling someone to crawl up his ass.
Because don't tell me that, because I was enjoying the visualization of Dan Wetzel climbing out of Brian
Yes,
Ferentz's
I don't know
ass.
how.
You wanted to believe it, so you did.
We're going to hold number 1. Hold it, because I need to learn more. I don't know how Ferentz talks, so I thought the media was up his ass.
Well, they are.
This is genuinely helpful, Jessica. Number 2 seems obvious, but are they saying something insane? I think the reason that deep fakes work, though, is because it's right on the line of why is this going viral? Is it because it's not quite insane by 2023 standards? It's just Ferentz's nepotism boy saying, get out of my ass, media. And would an offensive coordinator from Iowa get that irritated with the media that he would tell the assembled media, I descend from Ferentz heritage. I'm bad at football, offense, I like to punt. Media, go bleep yourself. My dad's got a deal unlike any person who works in the state. He runs this program, the big business of college football at Iowa. Get out of my ass, media, sounds real to me.
Okay, it's not, maybe I should rephrase. And maybe it's not insane, but are you slightly like, wow, I can't believe he said that?
But
Because
I also
think
assume
that's
that's
a
why it's
giveaway.
going viral, though. I
Well-
assume the reason it's going viral, like, this is the chum in the water that fools me.
It could also be, what do they have to gain by saying that? Like, why would he say, get out of my ass?
I think there's been so many
Well said.
crazy college football sound bites from press conferences that, yeah, like Mike Gundy yelled at reporters and said, I'm a man, I'm 40. That happened like 12 years ago. That was real. However, like, these are just slightly past the realm of believability that a offensive coordinator at a Big Ten school would say, get a step ladder and crawl out of my ass.
Yes, that
It's just
they're not that
You know what? I
creative.
take it back. Insane is a good word. It isn't. That
It's
is
wishful
insane.
thinking for you, Dan.
I
Like,
would like coaches to talk like this. It's one of the reasons that I like the Colorado football story.
And that's why you have to couple it with the other 4 items on this list, because it's slightly unbelievable. And also, his mouth is not moving to match what he's saying. And also, number 1, the most important thing, Dan, who tweeted it? What is the source? Did Ballsack tweet
This
this?
is where Ballsack
Is this
and
from
Buttcrack
like
get me.
an obscure? And this is why like the Twitter verification thing has made life harder on reporters, because you can't tell who is like a college football fan, who's a blogger, who's a reporter, who's doing what for where, because people can just make up their credentials
Well, this
and
is
none
the
of it
thing, though.
matters.
But I look, man, I'm sorry that I'm the fool that always gets fooled by Adam Schefter with his NFL news, because he tried to do that, and I wasn't looking closely at how he spells his name.
you have to
When-
check the blue check mark, Dan. That's it.
It doesn't work anymore.
When
Spots Centra.
when Jess and I had a podcast together at Sports Illustrated, I wasn't allowed to bring up anything Adam Schefter said because it was so often the fake one, Dan. So, also,
Kindred
I have a
spirit.
question. Have we gotten to the point where if someone does say something and it's a video, they say it was a deep fake? Is that like the new I was hacked? Have we gotten there yet?
Well, who was it that tweeted was it Jay Williams about the Celtics hiring their first black head coach who said that he was hacked? Like, I think the hacked thing ran its course at that point. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah,
Right,
no,
so-
you've got some of the details right. Yes, Jason Williams told a lie that was obviously a lie that was the worst hacking that no one would ever do, and I think that's where all of the hacking lie went to die.
Yeah, it was that, and then it was HIPAA for like 3 years. And now
Right.
I think as time, like, oh, that was a
It's like,
that
oh,
was
that
a
was
body
a
double.
deep
That
fake.
was a deep fake.
Yeah.
Are you guys forever on guard here? Because NBA Central gets me every once in a while by just fooling around and putting the R in the wrong place. I'm easily fooled by these things because I don't look at people that way. You are actively existing as an entity on the internet that just wants to fool old dinosaur media guy. You're being a Barry McCockiner. When you give me the great Green Bay stat and I get it wrong because I didn't think to check that nobody would say your name that way.
Dan, did you get fooled by the like gullibles written on the ceiling thing in elementary school? I asked because I did. I'm not
Charlotte,
throwing stones.
Did you know if your hand
No,
is bigger
I'm
than
not.
your face?
No, this one I know this is not true because
You have cancer.
Yeah.
Guys, it's not written on the ceiling. I mean,
Let's do the useless sound montage. Billy has finally emerged from the dungeon.
You play good teams, you play well-coached teams, you can't beat yourself. And that's what we did today. We beat ourselves.
Rough, tough, physical, smart win. And a win with playmakers making plays when they had to make plays.
You know, I think that, first of all, I think everybody battled. I mean, I think the first half we played some of the best football we've played in a while. And we got to make it 2 halves. That's just the name of the game.
All right. Not too much to say after that one. Tough loss. But got to learn from it and just keep working harder and move on. So,
when you have a 12-point lead in the second half and you don't make the plays that and don't play complementary football, and then when you have mistakes, all those get magnified.
We have to play complementary football to be able to get that done.
We've got to score more. We've got to get more touchdowns rather than field goals. But at the end of the day, in this league, it's about getting the job done and winning the game and being complimentary of your defense. And I think we did that.
I thought that complementary football did exist. I thought the team played well together, picked up on each other's momentum.
We had a lot of momentum there. You know, defense came up. Crowd was into it. That's what you want when you're playing at home. Crowd's into it.
Thought we created some momentum at the beginning of the game, but momentum is, just a word. You need to have it for, you need to play well and coach well for 60 minutes. You can't just live off the momentum of a drive. We had 5 decent plays and then, that didn't play very well the rest of the game.
Defensively today, we weren't good enough. If we want to be a good defense, it all starts up front, right? Stopping the run. We did not stop the run. We did not tackle well. Fundamental football wasn't good enough. If you want to win games in this league, we got to play better.
It's going back to the basics, going back to the fundamentals. I was telling Ted, if you play bad and win, it's a lot better than playing bad and losing. So I was glad we found a way to get a win at the end of the day. But obviously a lot of stuff that we have to get better at.
Yeah, we just lost a game in overtime, Jeff. So how do you think the mood is? How do you think the mood is? How do you think it is? It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough group in there. There's a lot of pride in that room. Okay, and we put a lot into this, and we got a good football team. And so we've lost 2 tough games. We've got to bounce back, learn from our mistakes, and be ready for Minnesota.
Just keep going. Just keep going. I think this team, we have a lot of grit. No one's going to quit.
I need to do a better job.
We got to coach better, We got outplayed in the second half, tale of 2 halves. We got to do a better job, help our guys out because the effort's there, the intensity's there. We got to coach a little bit better.
When you get a win like that, you're not behind the count. We'll never apologize for winning. We know we got a lot of work, but that's the National Football League, is to keep improving.
But I love the look in these guys' eye. I like the way that they continue to be able to compete through the finish. And these are always learning opportunities for us. Some of these adversity presents opportunities.
We're not going to apologize for winning.
It stings, and those guys are disappointed. I'm disappointed. The staff is. But my gosh, man, this is good. We'll get a little humble pie here.
Why is it humble pie? Why isn't it cake or humble apricorns? Like, why is it pie? Who made it pie? I've got a couple of questions for you here.
What's an apricorn?
Apricot is what I meant.
It's fine.
Did I say apricot?
You did, yeah.
Mike Tomlin, not nearly enough Mike Tomlin in there. But I simply want to isolate for the audience, and we did some of this yesterday. But when you talk about the sheer insanity of what football is, everyone is out there being violent. That can happen to Nick Chubb. Hey, a lot of pressure. You got a lot of pressure, Coach, as the radioactive nuclear epicenter for people about caring about sports in your town. And you're Brandon Staley. And you're 2 games in, and you've lost both of them like that. Like, you lose to Vrabel the way everyone loses to Vrabel. And then Miami does that to you, and they're like, Super Bowl Miami, and Staley's drowning in quicksand.
You lose to Vrabel and have no idea how you lost to Vrabel.
You don't know. He'll cut off his penis to do it. He'll throw it at you. You lost at the end of the game. Tannehill's thrown 3 interceptions. He's 10-7. I don't know how that happened. They just kept giving it to Derrick Henry. His lower body is stronger than Nick Chubb's. We hope that holds up. Look out. Vrabel's going to throw his at you. You're going to lose. Can you explain to me, please, what Brandon Staley is sleeping with at night? What was the name of the reporter? Was it Josh? How does this feel, Coach, to be drowning in everyone thinks you're a fool now? You have Herbert. You better win soon.
Yeah, we just lost a game in overtime, Jeff. So how do you think the mood is? How do you think the mood is? How do you think it is? It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough group in there. There's a lot of pride in that room. Okay? And we put a lot into this, and we got a good football team. And so we've lost 2 tough games. We've got to bounce back, learn from our mistakes, and be ready for Minnesota.
It sounds like me after a top 5 when Billy's just been messing with me the entire time. It's like, how do you think we feel after that one? It was a tough one. We lost in overtime.
Supporting you.
But in fairness, it is a dumb question by Jeff.
No, it's not.
I mean, it is.
No, because if it gets that response, it's
How's it feel in there?
No, because it's a great question because it got this response. It's the response that tells you more about what Brandon Staley is feeling than anything else that he could possibly say.
Yeah, we just lost a game in overtime, Jeff. So how do you think the mood is?
You know what it makes me think of from Mad Men? Not great, Bob. Like, we just lost a game in overtime, Jeff. Yeah. Like, really, really good stuff.
But the deep fake after that is, what do you think? Well, like, keep escalating because he's already in that mode. What do you think? I've lost 2 games. I have Herbert. Everyone is crawling right up my ass with a stepladder.
How do you think the mood is?
Vrabel just threw his at me.
How do you think the mood is?
What do you think?
How do you think the mood is?
Jeff? What do you imagine, Jeff?
So how?
The throwing of a would definitely be deep fake.
Vrabel says he'll do that to win a Super Bowl.
He said he'd cut it off, not throw it. Yeah.
It's a small step from one to the other.
Well, we don't know how small.
If he cut it off, really, put it on the poll, please, Juju. If Vrabel cut his penis off, is it a big step to say he'd throw it at you?
You might want to save it.
I don't know. Maybe. My guess is he's willing to give it to the cause. And that's what you lose to. That's what it takes to be 10-7 in that league with Derrick Henry.